The latest, Venezuela chooses between another presidential term for Maduro or a big change. Venezuelans are voting in a presidential election whose outcome will either lead to a seismic shift in politics or extend by 6 more years the policies that caused the world's worst peacetime economic collapse. Venezuela's opposition leader was beaming with optimism as she urged authorities to order the closure of voting centers that remained open more than an hour after a deadline for vote counting to begin. 15 minutes past the closing time, about 40 people were met by an armed soldier, a member of a people's militia, and other members of the armed forces when they requested access to a voting center in the low-income neighborhood of Cadia to witness the vote counting process as allowed by law. Paris, France. The head of the UN Refugee Agency, Filippo Grandi, spoke to the Associated Press today in Paris about his hopes for Venezuela. Venezuelans turned out to vote on Sunday at a school in the Colombian capital, Bogota, where some 4,300 citizens were registered to vote. The unitary opposition candidate, Edmundo Gonzalez, says that he trusts that the Venezuelan armed forces will respect the will of the people. Asked Sunday about those efforts to boost turnout, Maduro campaign chief Jorge Rodriguez said, "Our machine is well-oiled." The 35-year-old Ibarra said her aunt wrote to her from the U.S. at 2 a.m. to see if she was already in line. Zeballos was a leader of anti-Maduro protests in 2014, calling for the president's resignation less than a year after his election. Most recently, he surprised friend and foe alike by registering to run against Maduro, with a rhetoric critical of the main opposition coalition, which considers him a sellout and a patsy for Maduro's efforts to stay in power.